Another twist in the title race, and this time it comes at St. James's Park as Manchester City have dropped points yet again. This is a tough place to go. We all know it. Newcastle United are up there in European football, I would say, as one of the most difficult places to go play away if you're a big side. Funnily enough, I almost feel like it's against the smaller teams where they have the impetus on them to break them down, where maybe Newcastle don't look as good. But in these bigger games against the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of, I know Barcelona went and beat them, but I remember PSG a few years back. This is where Newcastle are really, really difficult to beat. Funnily enough, Man City's record against them is flat out ridiculous. And I actually think it's the first time Eddie Howe beats Pep Guardiola in his Premier League career. But we know what this ground is about. And today, City, they found out the hard way, man. Seriously. I want to give a shout out to Newcastle because I thought it was a really good performance today. This is a Newcastle team that this season have kind of stumbled at times. Coming off last year where they won their first cup in however long, when they finished in the top 5, getting back in the Champions League, you almost wanted Newcastle to take that next step forward this season and maybe cement their place in the Champions League positions. Now, of course, the window didn't go as they wanted. The Isak saga dragged on till the end, and this season hasn't been amazing from them, but maybe this could be the result that kind of kickstarts their season, because today that's a performance that I think every single Newcastle fan can be massively proud about. And the hero of the day is Harvey Barnes, who grabs 2. Honestly could have grabbed the hat trick. I mean, the first chance that he gets in the first half, right? That open goal that he sends wide with his left foot, where it seemed easier to miss than it was to score. That's the easiest chance he gets all night. But Harvey Barnes is the hero tonight. Maybe the second one a bit dubiously. And I think that's where I really want to get started here. Because were City absolutely purring today? No. But also, I think City are a bit unfortunate, man. I do. I think they should have got a penalty in the first half through Phil Foden. And I think that the second goal, I'm less than convinced. Let's start with the penalty, or rather the non-penalty, where the ball falls into Phil Foden's feet in the penalty box. He receives it, takes a shot, slices through it. It goes wide. And a second later, Fabian Schär, I believe it was, goes straight through Phil Foden and sends him flying. VAR looks at it, says, no foul, no crime. I'm not going to lie, guys. I can hear the argument, right, that Foden wasn't impacted by Fabian Schär when it comes to his shot because his shot came before Schär came in. I guess, but on the flip side, right, if you're in the center of the park, right, if you're in the middle of the pitch and you receive the ball and then you pass it off to someone and it's a loose pass, but then someone still goes flying through you with a late challenge, that's still a foul, right? Like, you still fouled the guy, whether it impacted the play or not. It's still a discretion, right? So in my eyes, it doesn't really matter to me, the way I interpret the game, whether Schar's foul interfered with Foden's shot or not. He still fouled Foden. He went directly through him. If he breaks Foden's leg right there, are we saying that's not a foul? I can't lie. I think Man City were pretty unfortunate in that situation. And then when you look at the goal, VAR shows the line that's being drawn. And it's like the inside of Ruben Diaz's arm. I mean, this one's a bit more difficult to really say, right? For me, the penalty, I think it's a penalty. But the offside, I'm less than convinced about that one as well, too, to be fair. Maybe I'm in the wrong here. But again, on the naked eye, I thought Bruno Guimaraes was offside. I thought Ruben Diaz was keeping him off. And it's really only a sliver of the inside of his arm that keeps him on. However, yeah, I think those two instances, City will probably look at that and think, we were a bit unlucky to be on the end of that. Having said that, Man City missed way too many chances today. Way too many chances. This game was there to be won. Honestly, for both sides. The fact that it was 0-0 for as long as it was staggering, because Voltemata missed a huge chance. Harvey Barnes missed an absolute sitter. Erling Haaland missed chances that you would probably bet your entire mortgage on for him to score. He missed 2 of them. And then Phil Foden missed an absolute sitter of his own. So at one point, it felt like it could be 2-2, 3-2. And it was 0-0. But if we look at it from a City point of view, because they're the team that couldn't capitalize on those missed chances, they're going to be kicking themselves tonight because there were enough chances in this game for them to win. And I think it kind of leads to the biggest question that we've had all season. And it's, if Erling Haaland is not scoring for this team, do they have enough firepower to still get through games? That's never been a question for them in the past few seasons, because Haaland normally scores, but even if he doesn't, De Bruyne, Phil Foden when he's at his absolute best. I mean, Raheem Sterling all that time ago, Mahrez, Julian Alvarez, even Marmoush last season at times, right? But Marmoush has been in and out of the team through injury. Foden is playing a lot deeper than he did a season or two ago. And it kind of leaves City in a situation where a lot of the attacking burden falls on Erling Haaland's shoulders, right? He is scoring at a rate that is frantic. It's ridiculous. And the second top scorer, I believe, is Jeremy Doku of 1 goal in the Prem. That tells you, A, how brilliant Erling Haaland, his form has been, but it also paints an uncomfortable picture if you're a Manchester City fan that who's going to carry the boats if Haaland's not doing it, man? Who's the second in command? Who's the guy that can be his lieutenant? Now, Jeremy Doku, in terms of performances, has been that lieutenant. He's been fantastic. And I thought in the first half in particular today, he was great picking up the ball in those central areas, driving at players, played a nice pass into Haaland. Foden has been much improved this year. Cherokee's shown you flashes. I'm not trying to say that City are a one-man team in terms of performances, but in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net, yeah, I'm not going to lie. At the moment, it does feel like the Erling Haaland team. And I know Ruben Diaz grabs the goal today, but you need more. You need more in a situation like today where Haaland is looking he's looking human. Today he was human. There's going to be days like that. The days come few and far between, but when the day arrives that Erling Haaland can't find the back of the net, who do you trust? And I'm sorry, I think that's the thing with City right now. Doku, Cherokee, Foden, great players, but you need more out of them. I'm sorry, it can't be one guy scoring every single game and then the rest of these guys just kind of watch with their hands in their pockets. Man City need more. On the other end, Newcastle also missed huge chances, not even just Barnes. Like I said, Voltamata, and on a different day, I mean, Donnarumma proved today why Manchester City bought him, because when it comes to making those scarcely believable saves, I put him in the same category as Thibaut Courtois. Like, he has these long, extendable arms that seem to make impossible saves look very, very possible. On the other hand, I still have doubts about Donnarumma in terms of his claiming on crosses. I still find him a little weak when it comes in that regard, which is crazy to me because of how tall he is. But I mean, when he's saving shots the way he is right now, I mean, at times he is keeping City in games because Newcastle missed big chances today, man. Big chances. But ultimately, it's a big 3 points drop for Man City. And look, you're not going to win every single game, but when you look at how the season has gone, this is now their 4th loss of the season. We talked about Liverpool a few weeks ago and that magic number. Teams don't usually lose more than 6 games in a season if they want to win the league. 6 is like the magic number, right? Man City are already on 4. 3 of them have come away from home. So you got Spurs, you got Villa, you got Brighton, and you got Newcastle. The room for error is very, very small, especially when you're chasing a team like Arsenal, who, let's face it, have the highest floor in the Premier League at the moment. 1 loss, I think 2 draws. They might not be as breathtaking to watch going forward when City are flowing, but they are undoubtedly more difficult to beat than Man City are at the moment. So yeah, Man City did create a lot of chances, more than enough in my opinion to win the game. But I think the other statistic that's kind of damning is how many chances they conceded. I think it was 6 big chances conceded against Newcastle. The reality is the fact you only conceded 2 is slightly fortunate, and I think paints a more interesting picture here. Another thing for City today was the substitutions that Pep brought on. And I don't think they were bad substitutions because, let's face it, these are top players. These are players that have clearly a lot has been invested in them, whether it's Marmoush, whether it's Savinho, Oscar Bob being a fantastic talent himself. And I thought Bob's cameo was really, really good. Bob hasn't been amazing this season as he comes back from injury, but I thought today he looked a whole lot more like himself. But when I'm looking at Savinho and I'm looking at Marmoush, again, you talk about what it takes to win the Premier League, and City fans will know this better than anyone. You need depth. You need players contributing off the bench. Savinho, look, man, he looks so out of it right now. He looks so out of it. And Marmoush, I think, is similar, to be honest with you, but at least he maybe has the injury excuse to kind of put out there. City need more from the guys who are coming in to change games. They need more. You cannot win a league with 11 players, even more so when only one of those 11 players is consistently scoring. It's not the end of the world for Man City. The league title is not over, although Arsenal can obviously extend their lead over City by 7 points with a win against Spurs tomorrow. But this is, make no mistake about it, a setback. A setback that I think Pep will look at and say, okay, back to the drawing board. Went on a crazy good run. Haaland is scoring every single game. This feels like, okay, we did a lot of good stuff, but this is almost like a little bit back to reality. And honestly, I think when you look at City's fixture list, which I've just done now, this is like a real sting for them to lose, I think, because they have a nice run of fixtures coming forward. I mean, they got Leeds at home next, which you have to imagine. I mean, if you play FPL and you still got your triple captainship, slap that on Haaland. But they got Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland, Palace, West Ham, Forest, like a lot of games that you would expect City to kind of run through until maybe their fixtures kind of improve or get harder in January. So if they were able to get a huge win away from home at Newcastle, which is a difficult place, before this run of games, I think it would have really set City up nicely while Arsenal's fixtures start to strengthen a bit. So this one has to hurt. And you saw Guardiola at the end. He wasn't happy whatsoever. I think he was very, very frustrated, whether that was at his own team, whether that was at the officials. He was frustrated today, man. And I think he knows it more than anybody, the fine margins it takes to win a Premier League. However, you'll also know that the Premier League is not won at this point in the season. In fact, it's funny. He came out in midweek and said, this is when the Premier League starts. And that's a sentiment that's been echoed by Klopp. Fergie used to say it all the time. The Premier League doesn't start until after the second international break. Are we at 2 or are we at 3? It feels like we've had like 5 international breaks, but I think they used to say the season doesn't start until the second international break is over, basically. We're there now. Man City have lost the first game of the official Premier League starting, right? That doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but it's a disappointing one for Man City. But as for Newcastle, this is a big, big result. And I think Newcastle should look to improve from this, man. Honestly, they should look to build on this because they have the squad. You look at the quality Newcastle have. This is a good team. It's an expensively well put together team. And I think they did really, really well today at nullifying City in those central areas. You know, Man City want to play the ball into Foden's feet in that number 10 position. You know they want to play it into Cherki's feet. They want to pick up the ball in those narrow half spaces so that they can receive, turn, and then play Haaland on the break. I think Newcastle did a fantastic job of stifling those spaces so that Cherki really found it difficult to receive the ball. Foden really found it difficult to receive the ball. And on the contrary, those wing backs, those fullbacks from Newcastle in Livramento and Hall had so much success both sides of the ball. Defensively, in terms of whatever they were up against, they managed to basically nullify it. But then also going up and down. I mean, those two at one point had the most touches of any player on the pitch. They were a constant threat going forward. And to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of both. I think they're up against it, right? Because there's some really talented players out there for England. But when you talk about the best English right back, the best English left back, I think they're up there for both positions. I love Reece James. I love Miles Lewis-Skelly. I love the kid, what's his name? Nico O'Reilly. Great players. But Lewis Hall and Livramento, man. 2 Chelsea Academy players. Newcastle have done a blinder. They pulled a blinder getting those two, man. They were ridiculous today. And then for me, Barnes, because he scored the 2 goals, so he's man of the match. But I can't help but leaving Newcastle games and just being so impressed by Bruno Guimaraes. This guy is a warrior, man. He is an absolute warrior. And you can never accuse him of leaving anything on the pitch after performance. Honestly, he leaves his heart and soul out there. I know, look, Newcastle's not everyone's favorite team for numerous reasons, right? But a large reason for it is they are aggressive. Sometimes like treading the line of what's illegal and what's legal. I mean, Joelinton at times, man, it feels like he's playing a different sport. But that midfield 3 of Bruno, Tonali, Joelinton, my goodness. If you could see like a visual representation of their stamina bar at the end of each game, they must be on empty towards every game because the amount of ground that they cover, the amount of effort and intensity they put out on a game-to-game basis, especially when the big boys come, it's fantastic, man. It's absolutely fantastic. So shout out to Newcastle. Huge result for them. And as for Man City, back to the drawing board. But you look at the next few fixtures, it should be okay. But now they just got to keep hoping for favors from other teams. They got to hope for a favor from Spurs this weekend. And I think it's Chelsea next weekend for Arsenal. They got to hope for favors, man. That's what the Premier League's about, though. Let me know what you guys thought about the game in the comment section down below. Get involved. I'll read some of those comments for sure. And of course, as well, too, guys, please subscribe. We're nearly at 100,000 subscribers, which is the goal before 2026. And I can only do it with your guys' help. So with that being said, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.